Hi guys! So today's topic is reflecting on intercultural contact. And my reference is of course FutureLearn. And let me just talk about FutureLearn. What is FutureLearn? FutureLearn is an online learning platform in partnership with 23 leading universities to provide learning opportunities that let people gain new skills. And this week's course is improved by Dr. Heinz Collins from University of Leeds. So, this is my content. We'll start with returning home, then we have cultural blocks, preconceptions and assumptions, connections and divisions, ethnography, and the evolution of ethnography. So, what is returning home? Returning home basically means when you return to a place you have connections to. And there's a specific question about that. The question is, can you ever truly return home? And the answer is no. It's not possible. When you depart, both the places you live and the perspectives you carry with you change. So you can return home, but you cannot just truly return home. And you wouldn't feel belong to the place because you're not feeling at home while you're at home because what happens right here is you go to somewhere, okay, you spend your time with in that new place, and when you return home, there are a lot of changes. You have changed as well. Your perspectives has changed, have changed. Your point of view have changed, so you'll feel not belonged to the home, and this feeling of not fully belonging in either place, either the new place or either the home, could be described as being between cultures, as an in-betweenness. So it could be described as being between cultures. And it is really important while talking about reflecting on intercultural contact because it has a lot of things to do with it. And now we have this thing called cultural blocks. Cultural blocks usually refer to barriers that prevent people from communicating effectively or collaborating across cultures. Cultural blocks are misunderstandings, assumptions, or habits shaped by one's culture that lead to confusion, conflict, or miscommunication when interacting with someone from a different cultural background. And for example, an American might say like, just say what you want, what you mean, just say what you mean. And then the Japanese people will think that, okay, this is kind of rude. It feels like it's attacking to me. And I'm gonna talk about this and common types of cultural blocks. So this is language and expression differences. Like Americans use direct speech while Japanese people usually use indirect speech. So when an American says, just say what you mean, it's a direct speech, right? And the Japanese people will find it kind of rude. They feel like they are being attacked, and that's normal, of course, because they have both different cultures, both different expressions. And then we have the non-verbal communication differences. Maybe like Japanese people, I know I give a lot of examples about Japanese people. I don't know why, but they bow for respect, right? But maybe like a European or like an American would think that it's not necessary to bow. But Japanese people do this for respect. Or different cultural norms and values. For example, Germans like being punctual, like being on time, while some Middle Eastern countries doesn't care, like the time flows by itself. They don't, you know, they care, of course, but they're not necessarily talking about being punctual. Like, okay, you can go to somewhere 5 minutes after. Like, it doesn't matter. So these are some different cultural norms and values, and some stereotypes and prejudices. For example, they say like, okay, all the Asians are good at math. No, it's not real. This is a stereotype. I mean, I can give an example of myself. I'm not good at math, but I'm Asian, so I'm Turkish, so it's a stereotype. So these are some of the culture blocks as well. And ethnocentrism is something like, okay, my country is better at this. We do this better. You're doing it wrong. It is ethnocentrism. And then we have preconceptions and assumptions. Preconceptions are ideas or beliefs we form before actually experiencing or learning something directly, while assumptions are beliefs we accept as true without any evidence. So the differences between them is just like, okay, when you do a preconception, you already have some knowledge about the topic, but when you do an assumption, you don't know anything about it. There's no evidence. And preconceptions are mental filters we bring into intercultural encounters, often shaped by media or social narratives. For example, saying like Germans are always strict. This is a preconception because your idea about Germans might have shaped by media or social narratives. So this is a preconception. And assumptions happen in the moment when we observe behavior and unconsciously fill in the meaning based on our own culture. For example, when a person is not smiling at you, you will think, as a Turkish people, you will think that, okay, this is rude. But maybe in their country, being neutrality is respectful. Or when someone is talking in a high speed, like very loudly, you will think that this person is aggressive. But maybe in their country, it is the way how you express yourself. Like being expressive is better than being quiet, maybe. So these are some topics that are related to intercultural encountering because we don't want to do preconceptions or assumptions while talking about intercultural interactions, but of course, these are happening in the world. We cannot just deny it by saying, okay, I don't do it, but you don't do it, but your friend do it or your family do it. So, family does it. Sorry. I don't know why I can't speak English today. Anyways, and then we have connections and divisions. So, connections are like, okay, we are all from different parts of the world, but we can be connected by some topics. For example, like having a favorite sports team. Maybe you like NBA and your American friend or your I don't know, Indian friend might like NBA. Or like political view, maybe you have the same political view our national identity, like you encourage people all around the world to have like a national identity, or the religion, of course, like you're a Muslim and other people in the India might be Muslim. These are some connections, but there are divisions as well, of course, like global positioning. What do you mean by that? I mean that like your country in the global section. Like, okay, the position of your country can be a division to some countries, like can be like a contract to other countries, or like race. Some people are racist, of course, and they want to divide people by their race, or like politics, like okay, political view can be a connection but also can be a division as well. So these are all relative with the intercultural interactions. And last but not least, we have this thing called ethnography. So ethnography can be defined as a systematic study of groups of people and their practices. The Greek root word ethnos loosely translates as folk people, tribes, or natives. And ethnography offers you an invaluable resource to learn about societies and the groups of people who live within them. It can help to support successful intercultural awareness and understanding. Ethnography is important for intercultural awareness. And the evolution of ethnography, we can talk about this. So ethnography has changed considerably since its inception, and a range of ethnographic approaches continue to be used. These include documentary filmmaking, innovative fields such as digital ethnography or the field of education. So ethnography has changed, of course, the evolution of ethnography is a thing that we consider because ethnography is like an old term. We don't know the oldest version of it, but we know the newest version. It has been going around all around the world since like I don't know. It's too old. So of course there are some evolution about it, and we have some ethnographic approaches like documentary filmmaking or innovative fields such as digital ethnography or the field of education. But I'm not gonna talk about them one by one. But I think this is all I'm gonna talk about today. And these are some of my comments I put on the course, on the Feature Learn course. Like, I think the culture has a big role in this. Japanese culture is way different than other countries' cultures. And also the society is way more biased to changes. So it is about like a Japanese person, a Japanese group of people return to their home as like Japan, but they saw some criticism, they didn't feel belonged, and I think it's the reason of it. Of course there are some reasons other than just Japanese culture, but also I wanted to mention that Japanese people can be way more biased to the changes, so that's might be the reason for them to be treated badly, I guess. And I think asking questions, paying attention to the details are some of the best ways to avoid preconceptions and assumptions. So these are some of my comments, and I think that's all I'm gonna talk about. Thank you.